Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Well, I thought those were carriage bolts, but since they were going into round holes, actually meant for flathead screws, there wasn't anything for them to grip, so they came loose. There. Now, drill a countersunk hole right there in both these hinges to put that third screw in there. And that should hold that really well, especially with that strap over the top of it. Well, I have this toolbox stripped down. Everything taken off that I intend to take off at this point. You never know, I might change my mind. This is called a 6-board chest because it has a top and a bottom, that's 2. Front, back, that's 4. Both ends, that's 6. 6 boards, 6-board chest. What's unusual about it, and it's not so unusual now because of the way things have been over the last 20 years, but when I first started doing woodworking, finding a board that's 16 inches across, finding 13-inch wide boards a full inch thick was really unusual. Because sawmills were making 1x12s. That was about as big as you bought, 1x12. Of course, now with as many custom sawyers and guys out there with their wood miser cutting planks, you find boards that are wider. They're not necessarily good wood. One of the reasons that you don't find the wide boards anymore is trees aren't that thick. Now, some of the trees around this yard are thick enough to get a 13-inch board out of it. If you fletch cut it, I think it's called a fletch when you just cut it down the full length, slab it up, that leaves the pith in the center, and that's a weak point. That board will break easily. You really want to have a board that, if you want a 13-inch board, you got to have like a 30 or 40-inch diameter tree so that you can do a quarter saw and not have the heartwood on one end of it, because the heartwood is really tight circles and it tends to split out. You really want to have straight grain on both ends. That means a really big board. Well, this one is a one solid piece on the top, one solid piece on the bottom. Both sides are one solid piece. And the sides are 13 inches too. So looks like they took one of these boards and made a box out of it. So this is kind of an unusual board. I don't know what kind of wood this is. The barn was made out of what they call tulip wood, or sometimes called poplar. And I know poplar isn't tulip wood and tulip wood isn't poplar, but I had boards in there that were 99% sure they were poplar, and I was told that the house had tulip wood trim, which looked like poplar. But this full width board, 1 inch thick, unusual. In the barn they were oak, and this one on this side is plain flat. On this side, it's not even close to it. I thought at first it was a series of small boards. Somebody planed the top of this plank by hand and flattened it out. And they just did a rough finish on the inside because they knew that they were not going to have that exposed. That was not going to be on the outside. That's pretty common. If you were making drawers, you would make the inside of the drawer look nice and the outside pieces you didn't really care about because, you know, when you slid it in, they were covered. The inside people would see, but the outside, not going to see it too much. Besides that, flattening out boards, a lot of work. So I think this was actually cut and made by hand. Makes it that much more interesting. And it's amazingly light. If this was oak, that would be an armful, but it's not. It's not real heavy. It's about maybe 10 pounds. So this very well could be poplar or cottonwood. Interesting. Okay, enough for tonight. I've got a long ways with this box today. I'm very happy with where I'm at. Tomorrow I can start cleaning things up. The glue will be set on those plugs good and solid. And I can cut off these hinges, get them fastened in, do a little fix them up work on this thing, put some putty in it where it needs it, and patch some holes. And I know some people said, oh, leave it with all the marks. Marks are okay. You know, if it's a little dent or a dimple in the wood, I'm not going to worry about that. But this thing's got actual chunks missing. Splinters and chips out of it. And you know where the hasp was hitting. That's just plain ugly. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. And while you're here, why not hit the subscribe button?